Hi everybody, look who I've got here, Stacey Currie, who made the video with me the other day.
Hello.
How was the response? How did you feel? We got such a great response, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I got heaps of messages, private messages. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, it just makes me feel that I am heading in the right path, and yeah, they were just amazing messages.
For those of you who didn't watch the past video, it's called You Can Turn Your Life Around. I'll put the link to it under here, so you'll be able to have a look. But basically, in like 2 sentences, is that Stacey grew up in a home where she didn't have money and she was abused and all sorts of things, and she managed to fight her way through and become this amazingly successful businesswoman and book author. There's her book here. Where is it? I love that name, The Rich Get Richer and the Poor Can Too. That's cute. But she's done so many incredible things. And so because of your responses, I decided to get her back to do another video. And so some of you have written in with questions. So I'm about to kind of look at my Facebook page and so go backwards and forwards. So if I'm kind of staring up there, you'll know what I'm doing. So are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go over here. We'll just scroll down. Oh, actually, first of all, a girl sent me a private message from the Netherlands.
Oh.
Yeah, and her name's Gemma. She's been through a few health issues, but what she wants to know is about starting her own business and how to find her passion and then how to go through it. I've got some stuff to say, but you say, you say how you think you find your passions.
Well, for me, mine was obviously seeing the man being hit and killed in the car.
Because Stacey her dream was to become a funeral director.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not.
So to see that man hit and killed was mine. And now when I work with other people to discover their passions, what I say to them is, if you do something that you would do for free and absolutely wake up every morning and love and get excited about it. That's
so true.
Then you've found your passion.
Yeah. And then I've read this other book as well. I just got this on the internet. It's by, I don't know how to say his last name. Oh, hang on, he's phonetically written it. Currie Vaynerchuk. He's American, so there we go. Anyway, what this book is about how in this day and age with the internet and everything, everybody can fulfill their passion and make money from it. Yeah. And what he says is that his feeling is that it's better to make money and be happy than go out and do a job you don't like. So he's saying even if you only earn a minimal wage but you are happy with that wage, it's better to get some stuff going on the internet and do some stuff like that makes you truly happy.
Yep, absolutely.
And he's really into being on all the sites like Facebook, Twitter, you know, there's a million of them.
Okay.
Yep. YouTube. And if you can do videos, which I love, as you guys know, and Stacey's going to really start doing them because I think she's great. But if you guys love doing that, then it's also a good opportunity for you because you can connect with people.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a great book. For those of you into it like me, just totally changed that whole screen. For those of you into it like me, that's a great book, and I'll put the link to that as well. I really liked him, and he's got lots of videos on YouTube. He started because he's into wine.
Yep, I've heard all about that.
Have you?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of him till the other day, believe it or not, but I hadn't.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I will get that book, though.
It's really good because it just confirms what I think. I love it when someone confirms what I think. Okay, Chip Palmer says, this may sound a bit rude, but how did you become so inspiring? And who do you get your inspiration from?
Well, my inspiration came from... So when I think I was 13, and I was living out the backyard in a shed, believe it or not, and I met my boyfriend he came from a really well-to-do family, and he left his, he's got a really nice house and everything, and he came to live with me in my housing commission house where I lived out in the shed in the back, and I used to go and visit his house, and every night, his mum would serve dinner at the same time, and I'd say...
And that wasn't familiar to you because you hadn't grown up with that?
No, because Dad wasn't home a lot. He worked, 3 jobs and everything. But and my stepmom was always, in and out of hospital. But so I went to his house and I'd say, oh, how come you get dinner every night? And And the house was
See,
always
that's something
clean.
I've taken for granted because I did grow up with that. So isn't that so interesting that that really inspired you? That was something that was a shock to the system.
And his mum, like they used to walk in and then his dad would finish work. His mum would be in the kitchen cooking and then his dad would knock on the door and finish work and
He
walk
would
in
not.
and
Did
say,
he knock on the door?
Oh, no,
Or he'd
sorry,
just
walk in.
Yeah.
And then the mum in the kitchen would yell out, hello! And he would say, hello! And I'd think, oh my God, what a really nice family.
I love that.
And I started to, I don't know, and the house was so clean. And I was.
And you're a neat freak now.
Oh, my house isn't.
Yeah.
I'm a clean freak.
Yeah.
So that was my inspiration. And they both worked and they both, like they had 2 cars.
Do they know how much they inspired you? Are you still in touch with them?
No, not much. He's the father of my 2 kids.
Yeah.
And
I hope they know how much
I hope they do too.
they inspired you because realistically, it was probably a shock to them when their son had when they became grandparents at some really young age.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
you know, as mums, we would know that, you know, that's not your ideal situation for your child, is it? So
no.
it must have been a shock for them. So I hope they know, you know, the really good stuff that came from it.
I think I wrote them a letter once a few years ago, but
Yeah, good.
I hope they know. But yeah, and they had
We'll
2
send
cars.
them this on Facebook. I wonder if they're on Facebook.
And they had a house, and I used to ask them, how did you own a car, and how did you own your house?
Yeah.
And then they taught me how to save, and so that's where I got my inspiration from.
That's great.
And how did you become so inspiring? I didn't even know that I was inspiring until I started to
That's what's
talk
so
to
great
people.
about it.
I don't know. I used to talk to people, and I'd go to work, and I'd be in the photocopy room or something, and somebody would come in and say, "Oh, how was your night last night?" And I'd say, "Oh, it was shit," you know, and tell them all the story, what happened, and then they were saying, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," and I didn't feel it.
She is amazing, everyone.
I just, and then the more you talk to people, and the more you inspire, and then I'd say to people, "Why don't you just do this?" It's, you know.
I think that too sometimes. You go, can't you just do that?
Yeah. And so then you start to, I don't know, find yourself being inspiring. Yeah.
Jamie said he just wanted to tell you that you are amazing.
Oh, thank you,
That's
Jamie.
sweet.
Thank you.
Oh, and Tracy wants to know, Tracy's in Canada, she's a gorgeous girl. She wants to know how your son is doing today, the one who Tracy, I have called you Tracy in 2 videos and I so know her name's Stacey, everybody. Did you hear me do that the other day?
No.
I went, oh, Trace. And then and as soon as I said, I just called her Trace. Anyway, that's because of that Tracy. That's why I've said that. Hello.
Hi, Tracy.
Stacey had a situation when she was working in the funeral home where she was looking after a girl who had committed suicide. You know, she was preparing the body and, you know, that was giving her a bit of a shock. And then she got a phone call from your son, didn't you, who was 10. And she had just got her dream job after 10 years of working towards it. So she was only really in it for 3 months. And she had to quit the job.
Yeah. So how is my son doing now?
Yeah.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for your messages.
I'm getting all mixed up with Tracy and Stacey now. There we go.
I must say my son is absolutely amazing now. He's 16. He was, at the age of 13, he got into the marijuana and the drinking and the bad stuff, hanging out with the bad people. And he came to me.
What did you do? Yeah.
Well, he ended up living with my dad. He went to live with my dad.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely devastated. I cried. I called the police. I called everyone, and they said, you know, there's nothing you can really do. He was 14 at the time. And what I ended up having to do, I got onto a website called Tough Love, and they say, and so I worked on myself and changed myself. And what
was it, do you think, that made him do that? Why do you think he got into drugs?
Well, I mean, his whole childhood was negative. It was
yes, because he'd seen you
born
abused,
up
of course.
in violence and just everything bad.
Yes.
And so he went off the
rails. See, I just think of you now. Like, I'm just thinking of how you're living now. So I'm thinking, what? Yes.
So he went right off the rails.
Yes.
And then as my life was changing, I used to nag him every time, Josh, you've got to come home. You can't do this. You can't be doing that. And then in the end, I'd lost control. And so I had to just let go of him and work on totally myself. So when I'd see Josh, I'd say, I'd talk just positive.
Everyone. Yes.
Yeah. I'd only talk positive stuff like, Josh, you know, you could be doing this, you could be doing that. And I showed him by actioning myself to create my dream life. And then he jumped on board. And do you know what?
Isn't that great?
He had a passion for animals.
Be the best example.
He had a passion for animals. And he applied to work at the Melbourne Aquarium for work experience, and out of 300 applicants, he got in.
Yes!
One of only 2. And
chip off the old block.
He's amazing.
That's so good. So what's he doing now then?
He's working full-time. We've just offered him an apprenticeship in our business.
How wonderful.
And
is he going to take that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he's got a passion for animals, so he wants to have his own little animal business. So
that's a nice story.
Yay, he's good.
See, so by setting the example, that created that, because you created the atmosphere and the surroundings where you didn't allow the negative stuff in.
Yep, for sure.
Yes. It's like, actually, as well, just completely, well, not completely going off the track, but when you see parents who perhaps are overfeeding their children, or you know what I mean, like you become used to certain foods and then the kids get fatter and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying it for looks-wise, I'm saying for health. Obesity is like a huge problem in Australia and all around, well, not all around the world, but in, you know, like Western civilization it is. It's a huge problem. And so what needs to happen there is the mums and the dads need to get educated about food first and set the example. See, I exercise all the time. And so does Paul. And now Zoe's started to exercise. She's doing rowing and all that. And if you set the example, they want to do that stuff too.
Exactly.
Don't you think?
Yep. And I'll just say quickly too, because I've had a lot of messages from people that have lived in domestic violence. So this might, you know, be good for them. A lot of the kids that come from domestic violence, you know, they go to school and they're told that they're naughty and they're just really bad kids. But they're not. It's all the stuff that's happened in their brain as a child to witness all the domestic violence. So as a parent, to change yourself and to stop saying that they're naughty kids and all of that really does help.
Because no one wants to hear that, do they?
No. So,
and it's hard sometimes, you know, to not say those things. Like, you know, like even everyone's kids have stuff that you can say, and hang on, you didn't do that.
Yeah, it's...
And to try not to do that sometimes, you know, like you do have to actually stop yourself. I'd have to sometimes too.
Well, my counsellor, my 10-year-old that I'm working with a counsellor with, because he's had the same issues, she's saying do the counter-intuitive. So... intuitive for a normal child that's been brought up normal, the naughty boy, you would say, get in your room, I don't want to see you for 5-10 minutes, you're naughty. With a child that's come from domestic violence, what I have to do is do the counter-intuitive and go against, like if I wanted to say, get in your room, get out of my face, what I have to do now is go into the room, cuddle him and tell him how beautiful he is and talk to him through the anger. So if he's angry, I have to talk about the feeling. You're feeling frustrated, and that's where the anger's coming from. So it's amazing if you can learn.
God, you're inspiring.
Yeah,
that's really why she's inspiring.
So you can just help your kids so much better.
That's great information, because I'm sure a lot of people have that sort of stuff. Okay, Sue said, we all have these moments when the most positive of people fall over and wonder why they bother. How did Stacey deal with those moments? Yes, okay, so like when you got the job at the funeral home and then you lost her, how did you deal with that? Like when you got your dream job and you knew because your family was more important?
I guess for me, because I've always had pretty much nothing, like just say that when I got that unit that was really POV, and it was so depressing. Like I look back now and it's depressing, but to me at the time it was so exciting. It was beautiful. Somebody like yourself, if you had to go and live that life, you'd just want to jump off a cliff. But to me, I was so excited.
That's right.
So I've always been grateful for what I've got now.
Yes, that's so true.
I don't know. I've just never...
That's so true. When I lived in my little one-bedroom flat, I always used to think to myself, this is going to be the minimum that I'm ever going to have. And I loved my one-bedroom flat. Like I did. I consciously thought that, everyone. I really did.
And now you've got this amazing house.
Yeah. I saved up and bought that apartment, I have to say. I paid it off. And it was one of the best things I did, because it also, you know, like when you break up with a boyfriend or something and you could just take off overseas and do all those random things, it stopped me from doing that because I had the commitment of a mortgage. So my parents were quite smart doing that, putting me doing that, because they went halves with me. So they paid back half and I paid back half. And so when we sold it, they got their half and I got my half. But it was good because it kept me, you know.
Grounded.
Yes, it did. Okay, all right. Tracy wants to also know the significance of the chili pepper on your book.
Yes.
See?
So if you look at that...
Is that your face?
No. Everyone asks that.
Where you are?
See that hot chili in the glass there?
Oh, yes.
That says Stacey Currie because my last name's Currie.
Currie.
And it's got down here, you can't see it, but it's silver, and it says, put a bit of curry in it.
Ah.
And
some
so
of those things are so obvious, aren't they? And we just don't see
that's
them.
the hot chili is, because if I put curry powder or something, nobody would get it. So I thought I'd put red chili.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's how I
cute.
got that.
Did I get all of her question? Yes, I did. Phil. Phil's from Ireland. I've actually met Phil. He's one of my friends from here and who I've met in person. We did an Irish video together. He's so cute. What would you say to someone who'd had so many different passions in life and wanted to be so many things, have so many different careers, but can't decide on which one they should follow? I'm only 20, so I've got plenty of time to start. I've graduated from college and really do have the world at my feet, but don't know where to start. I want to be a teacher, a singer, a writer, a journalist, so many things, and can't decide on the one thing that will make me truly happy and provide me with enough money to live. Phil's an amazing singer, Broadway quality singer, like not just, someone singing in the shower. He's really good. So he could make a career of that.
Right.
Well, what would you say to that question?
I would definitely say go with the one thing that as I said earlier, that you wake up in the morning and you would do it for free. The funeral industry, to me, I used to knock on doors and say, I will clean your hearses for free. I will do anything for free. And that drove me. So if you can get up in the morning and get excited about something that you're just not even going to get paid for.
Yeah.
That's when
I
you
feel that way about these videos.
Yeah,
I know that's crazy. So many people, I've said it before, but so many people say to me, oh, do you get paid? Or they assume I get paid or whatever. And then the other day I was watching, Oprah's been doing these little 20-second clips, or not 20, a couple of minutes, because she's only got like 20 shows to go.
Yeah.
So she's been doing like these 1-minute clips just to say hi to everyone. And someone said to her, would she ever endorse a product? And she said only if it aligns with her and only if it feels good. And she sort of sees the internet as becoming the way to go, and how with her station she wants to align herself with people that of a similar thing. And I feel the same way. So if I'm talking to Stacey, even though she's written a book and I show you the cover of the book, it's not because she's paying me $1 zillion to come and promote the book. You know what I mean? Like, I do it because I am passionate about sharing stuff on the internet, or, like when I go to the fashion parades or anything like that, it's because I want to show you that sort of experience.
Yep.
There's nothing more to it. And some people try to second guess.
They think you've got a hidden agenda or something, but you just absolutely don't.
I just enjoy it.
And I know that's why, because I don't put my name and face to I've been, I get offered a lot of opportunities too. And when I had an opportunity to come to Megan and do this, I took it because I feel she's got a lot of integrity and does this for the love of it. There's nothing hidden behind it.
Yeah,
and it's not all about money and stuff, and that's why.
Yeah. I know, and there's not, seriously, I suppose there's not many people like that. So when people second guess me, it gives me a shock because I know what I'm doing. Okay, Anna said, can you explain more when you said that you never focused on the money?
Yeah.
How can you have not focused on the money when you so clearly needed it at that time? How do you flip your thoughts to not focus on the money, even if you love what you're doing, but you're not attracting the money you really want?
Okay, I've got a really good answer there. I must say, the house that I'm living in now, the car that I'm driving now, the money that I have got now, if I was to, I would have the fear of having to lose all that and go back to where I was.
Yes.
But because I started with absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
And I had the really poor house and the really poor car, but again, I felt so truly grateful for it. When I had my job and I was earning, I think, $280 a week, and I had the 3 kids, I was lucky enough to have Centrelink help me with childcare and stuff. So I had Centrelink would be government.
So she wasn't leading an extravagant lifestyle, but you had enough money to live.
I didn't have TV. I didn't have table and chairs. I remember when I had the DHS, the Department of Human Services, come to my house and they're like, Stacey, we'll help you with blankets and tables and chairs. And I said, no, I don't want them.
Those of you who are complaining out there, I hope you're so listening to this, because to me that's so foreign. I can't imagine not even having table and chairs.
Yeah, I had nothing, and they gave me this really poor blue one. I remember it. But I was so grateful for it.
Yeah.
And with the money that I got from work, do you know what? I saved every single penny.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anything. I didn't buy clothes. I had poor clothes, everything. And I saved for my first house. So by the time I was 26, I had a huge deposit for my own house because I saved from the age of 17.
Yes.
I just didn't have the luxury stuff.
Yeah. And that in that book, you know, the Crush It one that I was talking about, Gary, however you say, Vaynerchuk, he also says that when you're doing something, it's kind of like, you know, for me, the YouTube stuff, you have to allow it to grow. Like, you have to put it out there and just, it's like you do it for free because you love it. And you've got to allow time. And the more time you can allow it, you know, to kind of grow. Yeah. And you know what, if you need extra money, go and do some other stuff. Like, there's loads of jobs anyone can do. You could make gift cards and sell them. You could clean a house. You can clean people's windows. You can clean people's cars, take dogs for walks. Yep. I mean, there's all sorts of things. You could walk with older people. You know, elderly people need older people need people to cook for them and take meals. Like, there's so many opportunities of what you can do. Yep. And that would make you feel good too, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah,
well, on a Saturday, because I wanted to start looking really nice. I wanted to start looking good. So I got a Saturday job in the morning from 9 to 12. I
can't imagine her not looking good, can you?
No, from 9 till 12, and I'd work in a cafe, and I'd get $100 cash.
So that was your spending money?
Yeah, that was just a bit of spending money. Yeah. You know, and then, I don't know, when I was 13, I'd door knock on houses and ask to clean their houses. I'd get my sisters and her friends to clean the house, and then I'd go collect the money.
Yeah. And it's about being good at what you do.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yes. So I'm sure when you were cleaning the houses, you were amazing at that.
Well, I didn't clean. I just got the sale and collected the money.
What a savvy businesswoman.
But, yeah.
That was very clever.
I don't know. It's just finding your passion. It really is because, honestly, the money, it's just not...
Yes, don't do it because it's like Paul said this the other day too. A lot of people go into real estate because they think, oh, we're going to make money. And yes, if you work hard, but you've got to hone your skills and you've got to become familiar with everything. You have to learn everything you can about that particular business.
Yes, yes.
And then, you know, sometimes you grow to love things too.
Oh, well, it took, us 5 years to make a profit in our business.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I am just looking for some more comments because I know we got some more. So just stay tuned while I do that. Okay, the little Facebook's bringing them all up now. So I hope you're loving this because I get inspired listening to you all over again as well. Okay, Martha said, Martha just said she's trying to think of a short question, but she hasn't gotten back to us. That's so funny. So hello, Martha.
Hello.
Jess says, how did you maintain the courage to never let yourself fall down after everything you've been through?
It was the drive I had to succeed in owning my own funeral company. Like, I wanted to become a funeral director, but then eventually I wanted to own my own company. Yeah. So I always had business mind. And so everything it was just a knockback for me. Like, I was knocked back, thousands of times. But and I still get knocked back from things that I want to do. But
have you done things to take precautions so that you don't, you know, so you've set yourself up so you're safe now? You know, like within your business or something. Like, for example, Paul, my husband, worked for 10 years and then really more or less lost everything.
Yeah.
So he'd worked for 10 years. He'd got to the point where he thought, in his own mind, that he had done it. He was ready to retire. We weren't married at that point. So he thought, you know, he'd done really well. Then he just lost everything. He had commercial investments and stuff like that. And with I can't even think of the word, but in the 1990 when he lost everything, he started again. And I, like, to me, it's like you. I hadn't had it. I hadn't had the money before. So to me, it didn't matter. And I just had confidence in Paul because, I don't know, I never doubted him for a minute. So it didn't matter to me. So now, as a result of that, Paul has taken precautions. Like, he doesn't, you know, like one of the biggest things, and also my brother-in-law says this, is not to spend money that you don't have.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. And so I don't have a credit card, everyone. I really don't. I don't want to owe money because I feel like I'm paying for it twice. Yep. Like, you put it on the credit card and you go, oh, I've paid for it. And then you get the bill and you go, oh, it's kind of lost the excitement by the time you pay the bill. So I don't have a credit card. I have a debit card. And if I haven't got the money, I don't buy it.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I don't have luxury things. I don't care about the best of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as I'm happy and the kids are happy, I don't care about things. Yeah. I'm not big on things. Jewelry, I'm not big on jewelry. Yeah. Like, you know, gold and even though Dave spoils me sometimes on my birthday.
Yeah. But if he didn't give you that...
It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm the same. Paul said to me, for our 20-year anniversary, he bought me a beautiful ring. But for years, we'd just been going in and looking at the shop. And he... Like, I never had to have it.
Yeah.
And so when he bought it, I mean, it's beautiful and I love it, but I never said to him, I've never asked him for anything ever.
No.
I don't know, I never do, I still do. That's one of the reasons why I work too, because I wanted to have that little bit of independence where I didn't have to say to Paul, oh, can I have that shirt, can I buy... I wanted to have my own money, and even though it's not massive amounts of money, it's enough money that for me, my self-confidence is good and I can go and buy him a birthday present with my own money.
Yep.
You know, all that sort of stuff.
And even doing something like this every day that keeps you busy and not sitting there thinking, oh, I'm lacking this and I'm lacking that.
Yeah. I mean, the experiences I get from this and hearing from you guys makes me happy.
Exactly.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
When you get those comments going, oh, that was so inspiring, you go, oh, yes, someone really got something out of that.
Yep, absolutely.
I love it.
Sure.
I really love it. Okay. Daryl Ann said... I have a question. Do I post it here now? I'm reading that out loud. When you left your husband who was abusive and you started your new life, has she always been as confident and driven then with him and afterwards? What does that mean? Or did you happen... Oh, did you feel confident? Did you feel confident when you were living in an abusive house with that man, or did this happen after you left?
Okay, before I met this abusive partner, so I'd had the 2 kids with my first boyfriend.
You're still in touch with him?
My first boyfriend. Oh, geez,
the abusive one? Yeah, I'll read it out to you. You keep answering and I'll have a look. Are you still in touch with him?
Yes. Yep.
And is he good now?
Yeah.
You don't have to live with him, I suppose.
Yeah, no, he's fine now. I mean, you got to be careful. Like 1 minute he's okay, and then the next.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to be there still.
But he is my son's father, so
yes.
But I always had a huge self-esteem.
I like that you said that.
Yeah, I always I had a ridiculous self-esteem growing up because I was never. I didn't have a mum to put me down. I had a dad that just
loved you.
He just loved me, so he was fun. Like he didn't have any rules or boundaries or anything, but he was the most funnest dad in the world. So I never sort of had anybody say you can't do this and you can't do that. And I actually remember when I was 9 years old or 10 or something. My dad, there was this huge river, it was like a lake or a river, the biggest, the Shellhaven River.
Yeah.
And there was a big rock called Paringa. And all the teenagers and all the big people used to jump off this rock. And I said, Dad, can I jump off this rock? And he's like, nah,
yeah.
You're not doing it. And then one day I said, well, because we had no parents at home most weekends. It was just us. School holidays, we're all at home on our own. So I went and jumped off this rock one day, and I was only so young, and I actually did it. So I never had fears or, I don't know, I had a huge amount of
Was your dad angry? Did you tell him that you did that?
Yeah, and he doesn't, like, he's like, oh, Stacey, whatever. And I pretty much was a parent to my dad. I told him what to do and used to go off at him all the time.
So what if someone's in an abusive relationship but they haven't got that same self-confidence and they, like, you know what, I think that there are people in these abusive relationships who are actually scared to leave because they feel that they might get killed or like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's people out there who are in marriages who just cannot leave because they're scared something will happen.
Well, I was constantly threatened for my life, and same as my baby's life. Hence, I stayed with this man because of the fear of that. It wasn't until
I can imagine you would.
I was constantly threatened with my life, and so it took me to go to a domestic violence counsellor where she told me that this is so common. And
yes, I'm sure
for me to go, and then when all the other women started to talk and say the same thing, I was like, oh my God, they get threatened as well.
Yes.
It's a common thing.
So were you scared, like, when you left him and then you'd leave the house and you'd be walking down the street, did you feel like, oh my God, he might come up and get me?
Oh, at night time. I had my kids sleep with me every night.
Yeah.
I was so scared that he was going to hurt them. For years they slept with me.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I wasn't scared on the street, but at night time, definitely in my house.
Yeah.
I was really scared.
Wow.
But to keep your self-esteem, what kept me going was books. Because I wasn't allowed to have friends. I wasn't allowed to socialise. I wasn't allowed to do anything. So
kind of.
And if I went to work, I'd have to come home and I would have to tell him step by step in detail to detail who I spoke to and what was said. Oh. And was the guy good looking?
That just makes me shudder. Was the guy good looking?
And if I went out and there was a good looking guy.
As if you never tell him yes.
I had to have my head down like this in case there was someone good looking, because I would get like beaten up if.
Oh,
we were at traffic lights one day, and I was heavily pregnant, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was in there, and there was this car that pulled up, and it was hot, so the window was down, and this guy looked at me, and my partner got out and bashed him for looking at me in the car, like.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was really scared. But it's okay now. Read books. Seriously, read books. That changed my life.
Yes.
It really did change my life.
Yes.
It did. Because I had nothing.
Did he know you read books?
Yeah, and he was cool with that. But we didn't have a TV because we were poor.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have friends, and if I did...
What was his profession?
Like...
What did he do for work? Did he work? Oh, you don't want to say.
Yeah, he was like... Yeah, I won't say.
We won't say what he did. No. It's a mystery.
But, yeah, it's...
Someone's relentless.
You've got to read books. You've got to read books.
Yeah, read self-help books and books that inspire you. Like that book that I read the other day, Crush It, that inspired me because, you know, sometimes you just need confirmation. I actually... hang on, let me just read the end of it. No, you know what, I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book that I love is by Jerry and Esther Hicks about the law of attraction, and it's called Ask and It Is Given. And I was saying to Stacey before, was she into the law of attraction? Had she ever followed it? And you said that you watched The Secret.
Yeah, last year.
And when you watched it, did you think, oh my God, that's what I've always done anyway?
Yes.
That's what I thought too.
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought too. So to me, it was just confirmation, and it was just, you know, saying that. I said that to Oprah actually because she said the same thing. And I think sometimes when you watch that, but sometimes people go, oh, I want to do The Secret. As if, you know, like if they just start thinking they're going to win $1 million, they're going to. But the thing with that is, it's like when I buy a Tats Lotto ticket, right? I think every time, oh, I'm going to win. But I don't really think I'm going to win. You know, I think I get goosebumps or whatever, and you think you're going to win. But, you know, you don't really. But sometimes, I don't know, like you always knew you were going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's having that inner belief and that it's hard to explain, but people who start practicing being happy and being grateful start to get to that point.
Yep.
And you really, when you start being happy and putting it out there and smiling at people and having positive thoughts and positive interactions, you realise that more comes back to you of the same ilk. And, you know, of course I still meet people who drive me nuts and people who try to block what I'm doing. And I was telling Stacey about this before. There are certain people who, when I want to do something with YouTubes or different like that, they block. They're like blockers. And when I look at those people, I find that I'm not the only one they're blocking. Like, they're surrounded, and people don't speak well of some of these people. You know what I mean? Like, so I think those people just create a fear around themselves.
Yeah.
And so they're not approachable. They might be thinking they've got all this control and power, but in actual fact, their meanness or their blocking other people's success is actually really bringing them a life that's probably not what they want.
Yep.
I really believe that. Like, seriously, I look at people who are mean or who are constantly looking for arguments, or, you know, people who ring up the council and they ring up this and they ring up that. And they're always so angry. I think sometimes those people get that back in a different way, not from the council person, you know, yelling at them on the phone, but they're not happy. They're always searching for the angry stuff. And if you try to find the positive stuff, it helps.
Exactly. Well, now when something negative comes into, like, if something, like somebody pulls out in front of me or something, years ago I used to get angry. And I'd be like, but now I go, come through. Hi, have a good day. I don't know. I just, I try to look at the positive.
It does drive me mad. Do you?
Yeah.
On the odd occasion, I think. But yes, I'm.
It does, but then I change it straight away.
Me too.
Yeah, it does.
Me too.
But then I go, hang on. Change it.
That's being conscious of your thoughts. That's exactly right. Or if you wake up and you've stubbed your toe, and you know how people go, oh, this is the beginning of a bad day. And sometimes you do think that. Or maybe 3 things happen, you know, you run out of toothpaste. I don't know, just stupid little things. And you think that's... And so I'm consciously aware, and then I think, right, that is not going to be the whole day.
Yeah, no. And that's, you've just got to change your thinking. And when I was sleeping on the floor at the friend's house with the baby and the 3-year-old, I remember thinking, I wasn't, like, I really was not stressed too much about it. I just remember thinking and visualising myself in my funeral director's uniform, having my beautiful house, and that just pumped me every day.
Yes.
It wasn't like a desperate
Yes.
thing. It was just,
Yes.
this is it for now. Whatever happens, it will happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to see if there's any more to that
got to
question.
think positive.
Did all this affect your self-esteem, and has she always believed how powerful? Okay, we've answered that. How long was it for her to cross over from her old story to her present? And now that it's gone, never again.
Yeah. Hello, Daryl. I remember you. You left me a message saying about your book, and you want to get it published. Do you know what? Just get it done yourself.
She's a single mum with 4 children.
Yep.
She left her husband at 37 weeks pregnant and moved country. Wow. That was 2 years ago, and it's still challenging, but she wants her children to say, Mum, I'm proud of you, and make a difference. That's really great. That's so great. Well, that's the biggest start, isn't it?
She really wants to publish her first book.
What's it about?
It's about having kids. I think, I vaguely remember, she sent me a message saying it's about nice stuff for children that have had bad lives.
How amazing.
Something like that. But
yeah.
what I would say, I had 3 publishers wanting to publish my book, but they wanted to change me, and I didn't want to be changed. So I self-published. Do you know what? You know, when you self-publish, you have to do all the marketing and everything anyway.
Yeah.
So I would just look at all the stuff on my editor. Just write the book. Write the chapters first. Get the chapters done. Then go to an editor. My editor, Alex, did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it will all just unfold. Just get the chapters done first. Focus on the chapters. Because that type of book for children that have been through that type of stuff.
I think that sounds amazing. And Daryl Ann also wants to know do you mentor people? As a business, do you do that?
Look, I give a lot of advice to friends and stuff, definitely, and we get together, and I'm happy
she said, I'd love Stacey to mentor me.
Yeah, I'm happy to if you send me messages or something, and then I respond and help you and put you in touch with people that you need to be in touch with.
She says that she's really connected with you because she's experienced so much of what you have.
Oh, cool.
You've
got to get your book out there. Just do it.
Yeah. She's looking forward to watching the interview. Oh, that's so cute.
Hello.
That's so cool. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. Gemma just says thank you for your encouraging words and that, you know, it's inspiring for her to hear this
big
stuff.
Hugs. Thanks, Janelle.
And
Gemma.
And Janelle says, thanks for posting your stories. What do you appreciate? To finish off, because we've been going on for so long, I think this has been, you know what? I reckon people have watched this whole thing because I have been captivated listening to you myself.
Oh, cool.
I have. And I know her story, and I still learn new things about her every time I see her. So what do you appreciate most about your life right now?
Easy. Okay, I'm living congruent, 100% congruent with my top 3 values. Do you know what? I can actually say that now. When I was living... That is the key.
That's what Gary says too.
Does he?
Yes.
My number 1 top value, obviously my kids. Now, my kids are living happy now. Although I've still got problems with the 10-year-old, but look, you never, ever stop having
your
problems.
Your current 10-year-old or the one that was
10-year-old now.
10-year-old
my current. Now. Okay, he's a challenge, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
And number 2 is my health. And I eat healthy and I drink healthy. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke.
Have you ever?
What?
Drunk alcohol?
Oh, yeah. Once every blue moon I'll have like a glass of wine. Probably once every 6 months. Yeah. But I don't.
But even when you were that kind of rebellious teenager, no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I partied Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. I started getting into nightclubs at the age of 13.
Yeah.
I
knew you would have had to have done
that. Yeah. So... I'm living, 100% congruent with my top 3 values. So my first, family.
Yes.
Second, health. Yes. Third, success. So I'm doing what I absolutely love to do. And I am just so happy. Find your top 3 values and live by them. Seriously, it changes your life, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And your family and friends and health are first.
Yep.
And then everything else comes later.
It depends on, like you can say my top value is health, but then you'll go and pig out on a pizza and McDonald's and drink and all that, but you're not living congruent with it. So
what about if you have an Easter egg at Easter time?
Yeah, that's all right, but then you got to do your
I'm not
your
even
boxing
confessing.
To lose it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not even confessing. I think I probably had, I don't know.
But it makes you angry when not angry, but did you feel upset?
Do you know what? Looking sometimes at photos and things like that, yes, I can. Yes, and I did it so well last year when we did the first fitness challenge. I just lost these 5 kilos and it was like, yes, yes, yes. And I was even like I went to the Logies last night, which is the Australian TV Awards, and I said to the commando, who's like this big tough coach, who was actually a real softie and lovely, I said, what's his biggest tip? And he said, you have to train hard. And now I've forgotten what I was even going to say. What was I going to say then?
About your, I forget.
Cough. But about what was I going to say? Was it about the Easter eggs? Was it about
training hard?
Oh, now this is real live bloody taping, isn't it? What was it? What was I going to say?
No, you lost it easily. You lost it easily the first.
Oh, yeah, and I was saying to him, it's constant. I lose. Oh, well done.
Yeah.
I lose 5 kilos. I put 5 kilos on. Well, maybe not. Yeah, you know what? Probably 5.
Yeah.
And that's honest truth. I hate to think that it's 5, but it fluctuates like that.
Yeah.
So now everyone, because I've given up drinking, I have lost about 2 kilos.
Yep.
And I'm not even a big drinker, but I found that I was having a drink.
Oh, every time you go out and socialise, it's food and drink.
And maybe even, people coming for tacos and you make a margarita. I got into a bit of a margarita thing. And so I was having like 2 drinks every day, but well, most days, not every day. But it got to the point recently where I thought, you know what? Because I was having margaritas, like I was enjoying that because we were on holidays and did our staycation. I thought, well, where I went, I'd have margarita and say where I liked them the best. But it got to the point where I wasn't enjoying them as much.
Yep.
And I thought, I want to enjoy it when I have it, so I'm going to make it more of a treat now.
Yep. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not that I'm stopping drinking, everyone, but for a while I am.
But it's very hard when you're socialising a lot and you everywhere, like if you want to go out for breakfast with someone, it's breakfast.
Yeah.
You go out for lunch, you go out for dinner.
Yeah.
It's all about the food, where I try to find friends that you can actually just go and walk with or
so true.
Do something with, like
make
hike.
a video with.
Yeah, video. Or hike or something. Because it's all about food and drink, isn't it?
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
So Stacey's actually going to start making videos, which I will let you know.
Megan's going to help me do it all.
I'm going to teach her. Because
Yeah.
I think she's got so much to offer and she doesn't need me to do this with her because she can just
but it is fun.
I know, it's good to have a conversation, isn't it? I agree.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be boring
we can do this for a while. Well, we'll make videos for a little while, so think of your next questions and then she'll start on her own and just take over with a zillion subscribers. I can see her taking off. I can see you having a TV show.
Oh.
I can.
Oh, yeah.
I can. Let's do one together.
Let's do it. Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space. Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.